Well, hello, hello. How's everybody doing today? Can you hear me okay? Alrighty. So I had this really, really awesome photo shoot today. New model. I've never met her before. She's friends with my wife, and I don't know. Basically, my wife's job is to find models and pop bottles. She does a lot of connecting with people and some of that legwork. And anyway, she always brings fantastic people. So today we shot with this one right here, and wanted to experiment just because I'm kind of new to Twitch by and large. And streaming and all that good stuff. So I was like, okay, why not go through the actual catalog and go through that actual process with you. Answer questions, chat, all that good stuff. But anyway, so this is Capture One. If you're not familiar with Capture One, it's like a raw processing software. So it's like basically like Lightroom or Photoshop's raw processor. Um, the difference between Capture One and Lightroom and Photoshop is this is a lot more heavy duty. And it's also, you can shoot tethered. So tethered, for those who don't know, it's essentially, I can go connect my camera to the actual computer. And so the model can go and actually see what's coming out of my camera. I don't need to keep going up to her to, or him in the times that I shoot males. What is it? And show them what I'm capturing so that they can go adjust themselves or, have confidence that they're doing the right thing, et cetera, et cetera. But anyway, so I shoot tethered. It's really, really useful for both myself and whoever is modeling for me. And what I can do essentially with that is over in all of these is I can go and set overlays or color grades or skin corrections or light temperature like white balance or something like that. And I can go and tweak those things and then make it so that that's what it is out of camera. So for instance, if I grab this right here, let me turn that off real quick. And for whatever reason, I wanted her to be yellow, and I wanted every single image thereafter to be with a yellow cast. I could go do that and then set it up to where basically it's hooked up to my camera and every single image will end up with a yellow cast on it. Not something that I actually want. So anyway, the power of Capture One is the point. Capture One is a wonderful, wonderful tool. A lot of people that are in commercial photography, high-end portraiture, and etc., they use tethered photography, and they use Capture One. I am one of them, although I am just starting. So anyway, what I'd like to do today is just go through the entire catalog. And maybe the process of how my mind thinks in a photo shoot or whatever, and what I actually do, and basically go in and kind of do that. So this is my assistant or my wife hanging out with my cat. And the model real quick while I'm doing just light tests. So I probably won't use any of these as far as any kind of post-production. But what I'd like to do is a lot of what I do is basically this triangle up here with the exclamation point. Basically what that's going to do is it shows you when you're blown out. So it'll highlight in red if your light is blowing out your image, so you have no color information. So for instance, in her across, the light information is bright enough or above a certain capacity to where there's no information there. So color grading that in post or in Photoshop, unless I introduce color to it, will be very difficult and probably take several layers. I don't mind that on metals. I don't mind that on certain parts of the clothing. But I do mind that on skin. So usually I have that turned on so that I can go see where she's blowing out. So you could see in her fabric, all of these red dots is where there's no color information at all, which for my purposes is not good. So anyway, that's kind of what that is. So if you ever see red dancing around the screen, that's kind of what that's about and why that's occurring. All right, cool. So anyway, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and set up my folder for the images that I either will or possibly am thinking about taking to post. So this photo shoot was about almost just shy of 600 images. And so 99.9% of them will be garbage, in that I won't use them, I'll just delete them, and they're just the in between. It doesn't even matter. So all I want is the magic or something that I know from start to finish I can take into post and make some kind of compelling image. So I'm looking for blowouts. I'm looking for red. I'm looking for banding in the color, things that will basically destroy an image, or it'll produce more work than it's worth. So ideally, once I'm done with the light test, everything that is thereafter is basically good, usable, and so long as I did my job and the model did her job and we met in the middle, we find some really good images. So that's what I will be looking for today. Yes. Kind of curious. I would do one little test. I see that I have a viewer. So the last stream that I did, my wife tried to comment on it or do the chat, and it didn't work. So I don't know if it's disabled, because that would not be good. Do. All right, so I don't know whether people can or not. Okay, so I changed it to emote only. That's no good. Chat appearance, show messages. I wonder. All right, cool. Well, I'm gonna get to work and all that good stuff. Hopefully I sound okay. And hopefully as the stream goes on, it's entertaining. But I'm curious if people actually have the ability to chat. So yeah, we'll do a little thing real quick. Right, so that's super cool. So if you're ever starting out at Twitch, go find people that you know around to go find your channel and go get in the chats and see if that works. I'll try that. Anyway, I'm going to get back to work. So basically what I'm looking for is the way that I shoot. I don't like poses. So there's a thing where, you know, the model is kind of breaking in the photographer and the photographer is breaking in the model. And the way that that kind of works is because I don't know this individual, you know, I don't know, just being kind of loose and being able to express yourself and kind of understanding what the photographer wants right off the bat, probably not going to happen. So there's a kind of a break-in time of getting comfortable and, you know, making sure that you're getting good images. So the way that I like to shoot is, you know, people do their poses and things of the sort, but I don't like just this automated robotic thing. I actually like a nice flow with the model that's very natural, very, you know, it seems to be aesthetically pleasing. I quite like it a lot. So what we aim for is to get the model loosened up enough to where they can go into poses that they've tried out before, maybe with other photographers or just with their selfies if they don't have a lot of experience or just whatever. And then basically shifting within that pose. So essentially you would go lock your body into some kind of position, and then you would do shifting, or as I would call it, a flow thereafter to go and try to find I don't know, emotions in the face and different positions and stuff like that. If it ever goes black, it's because I shot faster than my mono light can pick up the light. So that's another thing is when I shoot, I turn my shutter speed up to, I don't know, about 20 to 2500, just very, very quick. And then ISO is usually between, like I shoot Nikon, so it's between 64 and 100, usually 100. I like clean images. And so what I try to do is I try to block out any of the ambient light. So the only light I want in the image is light that I personally control. And so with this is essentially a strobe with a, God, I want to say almost 6 foot umbrella that's diffused as my main light. Kind of like how she's limp. I might play with that. The nature of this shoot was a little bit editorial, a little bit fashiony, a little bit, I don't know, would you call that, edgy fashion or something like that. So a lot of these poses, even if they're a little bit bizarre, I'm not looking for necessarily just this cute, pretty thing. Even though the model might be that, that's fine. Yeah, I'm not looking for some kind of portrait you put on your mantle, as it were, or the family heirloom. All right, so anyway, awkward limp positions are super cool. Oh, okay. All right, so my chat actually works. All right, cool. All right, hey, sweet lady, I hope you're having fun at your mama's. Thanks for testing out my chat. I appreciate it so much. All right, cool. All right, so my chat works. Does does not, however, work in... Oh, hey, what's up? You're back again to see us. That's so fun. Yeah, cool beans. All right, so so I guess with this, I'm gonna continue going and finding the shots that I want. So I'm hoping per outfit, she brought 3. I'm hoping that we have at least 10 solid, like super solid images. And I feel like, I always want to do quality over quantity, but usually if I could get at least 10 per outfit, I have a range that I can focus on in that where I'm at in my, I don't know, pseudo career or trying to bud into a portfolio, I guess, if you will, to start one. I'm experimenting with looks, and if I could get 10 images per outfit, that's essentially 30 images per shoot that I can just really go and play with and experiment with. And I think that's like super cool. So some of these images won't see the light of day, in, I don't know, 6 months to a year, but it's irrelevant because if the lighting's good, even if it's just sitting on my hard drive forever, like right now, like tomorrow, I might not edit this as it is, but, say, 6 months from now or something like that, I really want to learn how to crop images in to where you could get this dynamical look that's close up. And I want to learn how to do that well. Well, cool. Like I have this image that's super freaking random, but nevertheless cropped in this far might be super, super cool. So, I like to, I guess, do my catalogs to where I'm doing the, do I print? No, I haven't, hard drive grave. No, I don't print any of my images currently. I think when I did digital art, I used to print out my stuff. Like matte paintings and digital paintings, I would print those out. But photography, I'm so new to photography. As far as like what I'm doing, it just really hasn't, it's just really not where I'm at just yet. I'd like to be, but not just yet. So I'd love to do like, I think when I have maybe, I don't know, a collection of like, I don't know, maybe, I hate to put a number on things, but 20, 30 images that I'm super proud of, that are super good all the way through post. I might go and do that, and just kind of see how it goes, see if people like it, see if I want to go to publish, etc. I think right now it's just really, it's all about experimentation, interacting with some of these people, getting a feel for them, seeing what they enjoy, seeing what I enjoy, and just building relationships with people. That's all this is. Photography to me is a skill set that I can go monetize. It could be something that's just cool. It's something that I can be taught to do, but I can also teach people how to do. And in the meantime, when I'm doing photo shoots, I get to meet super, super rad people, and I get to learn about their life, and they get to learn about mine, and we get to do really, really cool things. Anyway, that's kind of where I'm at in a nutshell right now. Is just let's meet cool people, take their picture, and then do the best picture that I can do in Photoshop thereafter. I appreciate that so much. And if I could do that, then I think what I'm establishing as a photographer is, I don't know, maybe Casey, or like Casey's my real name, but people call me a pseudo, or a pseudo rather. But I don't know. Here's this rad dude or whatever, hopefully my talents or whatever go to some level that's, I don't know, worthy of people, mentioning it, I guess. I don't know. But nevertheless, is what I would like to do is just do really, really good work and push myself to do really, really good work. And then interact with really cool people, and then trust that life is not gonna, I don't know, lead me astray, and that it's gonna be worthwhile. The pursuit's gonna be worthwhile is what I would say about it. So if that's something that's cool, then so be it. That's something that's cool. But right now I'm just enjoying the ride. So, for those of you, because again, I'm new, I guess, to Twitch, that haven't seen any of my final stuff, what's coming out of camera is, very different, than what my finals look like. But what I'm looking for, just to reiterate, is a really good base in which I can work with. I appreciate that so much. Oh my gosh, you're always sweet when I get on here. I like it. But yeah, so that's kind of what that is. So when I see images like this, it's kind of weird because my brain does 50 million things with it, right? So if you look at it compositionally, like the whole thing, it's kind of a weird image. Like her shoes and her stockings essentially go up, and then it clips right at the base, and then the shape language of essentially her belt on the skirt with this overlay. All of that is really, really interesting. And then, but it's almost like, how can I describe that? Like what my brain does when it sees that. It makes these really interesting shapes, right? And a lot of them are very sharp shapes. So if you go like right here, goes to a point. Right here, it's point, point, point. So you have lots of triangles, right? You see the seam, right? Going in here, and then it's clip, 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 like all straight lines, right? Even her legs and things of the sort, they're going and they're making this almost angular thing, right? And then in the top of the composition, it goes very organic and soft. Okay, so you're still getting like the triangles and things of the sort, you could see it right here, the hand, the inner part of the elbow and stuff like that, triangle, triangle. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know. Lots of triangles and stuff like that, but they get softer as they go up, and then they hit her face. And then when they hit her face, it's super, super soft. So it's almost going like edgy to very, very soft as it goes up the composition. And I think that's really interesting. So like as a base, I don't know. It's what it is. But like what I could do in like post-production is like, I don't know. I just think that's rad. So like that's a fascinating image to me, as a base, because it's got like lots of bizarre little twists and turns. It's almost like a plot twist in a movie, or at least how my brain works. So, and then you get like an image like this and things of the sort that's very, very similar, right? They're super, super similar. Okay. But you see that her curves, or curvy lines basically, they change, and it's almost like a gradient or whatever, where they flow, and it's not this kind of contrast between sharpy lines or whatever and then softness. It's almost like soft, 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 soft. Even how that bends or whatever, soft. Her stockings match soft, all the way down. And it's subtle, but it does something different to my mind, and the way that I see things. So I think that's just fun to play with. That's so funny. Yeah. Yeah, I've noticed with that's what I love about shooting tethered too. Is I have a little helper in Capture One. Like I'll give you, for instance, really quick. But this triangle, I don't know if you ever shoot Capture One, but where is it? So I remember, okay, I'll give you a better example actually. Like later in the shoot, I was shooting kind of with a really big modifier, so my battery kind of died and I had to use a different light setup. And let's see if I can find it. We're way down here. All right, so basically the gist is my light died, so I ended up doing natural window light, which is a lot darker, and then I did just a speed light with an umbrella, almost like not the ideal at all for a photo shoot, but I was in a pinch or whatever, and I'm just like, okay, well, I'm not going to lose opportunities. So while my mono light is charging real quick, because goof on me, let's see if we could get a different kind of style with her with a speed light, right? Well, I bought enough time between this outfit and then her changing to get the other light charged. And it was so funny. So all this red right here is right before I changed my basically my exposure triangle, because I think I was shooting at like 6400 for natural light with a little bit of a kick from a speed light. And I didn't change the settings back and just changed it straight to a mono light. And it just blew out everything. And I was just like, oh my God, how embarrassing. But we all had a good laugh about it. So it was pretty funny. But Capture One, when you do tethered, it'll showcase red if you blow out anything. So if anything shows up as like straight white, so no color information, because your exposure is wrong, it'll basically red flag you, which is super, super useful. Oh yeah, like definitely with raw, like, what do you call it? Doing the, oh my God, brain work. Why is my brain not working? The high dynamic range and bringing back the shadows or the highlights. Oh my gosh. I always trip on my keywords. Like I know them in my head, like when I needed to describe them or if I needed to explain it to myself. And then the second like I'll go read a comment. Maybe it's just being nervous on Twitch, but it's like I read your comment about the great thing about RAW is you can recover it, and like my brain automatically went to like, oh my God, high dynamic range or whatever. Like you can go, play with that, or you could even go to lightness or your exposure if you really needed to do that. But as soon as I saw that comment, like it's like, oh my God, I completely forgot what that's called. Anyway, just being a goofball, I guess. So super fun. So I'm really excited to take into post. Like I haven't had a model come in that has all sorts of like fun little rings, and fun little jewelry. So I'm kind of excited to play with that. I also I had a shoot maybe a month ago where the model was wearing pantyhose. And for the style of shoot that we were doing, like, where you'd get rips or distortions in the penny lines or pantyhose, essentially, panty liners, it didn't work with the image, right? And things like this, you know, I'll just call her Danny. Basically, like my wife is my assistant on photo shoots, and a lot of her job is to help me with things like, when you have fall offs of fabric or whatever like this, that I could completely retouch in Photoshop, but it's an extra, 10, 15 minutes and stuff like that of getting rid of the texture and then fixing the color. And if we could fix it in the shoot, like, why not do it there? But what's cool about this and like this type of outfit, is like I don't even care. Like it actually kind of works. I don't know about this string right here. It's a little bit distracting on mm, on the leggings going down that far. But like if I brought it up, for instance, to like right here and then just kind of matched it with these relatively, I actually don't mind it so much. It actually kind of works with it. It's almost that I don't know, it gives it some flavor, if you will. But yeah, I completely agree with you. Retouching is super, super fun. Super long process, but I guess if you go full blown, but nevertheless, I completely agree with you. So what I like about this model is how the light fall off on her faces because she's got freckles, right? So I've noticed with like freckles, if you do like harsh lighting and stuff like that, like you can really kind of blotch out, skin tones like that and skin types like that. So we use super, super soft light on her, a super big modifier, and it seemed to work really well. So I like that look a lot. So this is where this gets kind of cool, where you're getting the triangles and all the geometry that's kind of very stiff, right? But then also as it flows into the top. So again, triangle, triangle, jawline, triangle, just they're everywhere, right? But it doesn't break into something that's soft at all. So I think that's like super, super cool. That's so awesome. Yeah, freaking. Do you like fashion throughout the centuries? Um, yeah. Like I always love it when I look at like photography, especially modern. But then it's just like, oh yeah, that's like a 1950s look or 1940s, and then it's just like, oh wow, we're in the Elizabethan era or the Edwardian era or something like that. I always love that. Like fashion throughout the centuries is amazing. Seeing just what the spirit of the time presents. Like it's super cool. So some of these, I don't know if they'll completely work. Again, as I do a catalog of just kind of finding the ones that I'm just going to throw away versus ones that have potential. Some mistake that I've made in the past is like looking at it as a whole, and it's like, okay, I can't use that as a whole. And Danny, like she basically kind of went up, and she's kind of like the devil's advocate for me, or like the I don't know, what would you call that, voice of reason, if you will. So she'll get in my ear, and she's just like, okay, well, Casey, I've seen you do crops or whatever and stuff like that. Like it might not work like this, but what if you put it in there or whatever? Like that's where the magic's at. Why don't you just center it where the magic's at? And I'm like, oh my God, you just freaking saved my life. So anyway, so when I look at cataloged images and stuff like that, it doesn't have to be as shot by any stretch of the imagination. It can be quite literally like, I like the lighting, like literally right there, super cool. Okay, let's go play with it. you know. Um, but yeah, super fun. So what I liked and enjoyed about working with this particular model is um, her fluidity. She was able to go from moody to kind of fashiony to somber to all sorts of things. And like if I did see her teeth and stuff like that, it was almost like that, just slight little split to where, um, I don't know. I guess whenever one of those images come up, I'll bring it to attention. But super, super cool. So she was super rad to work with. Yeah, I definitely agree. Like when I don't know, I think it's so my favorite thing in the world is people who are open for growth, right? Um, like I'm the type of person where it's just like if somebody went and completely obliterated every single thing that I did and it picked single thing that I did because they were at the caliber that they were at, you know, even if they were ruthless about it, like I'm like super inviting, about that. But it's also is like in my career, I was brought up as a chef or whatever, and I did chef works before I ever did anything creative, like photography or art or something like that. Like I was in super tough kitchens with super tough individuals, and when they would critique you, it wasn't a pretty thing. So at all, but at the same time, it made you super super better. Um, what I've noticed, I guess, with my life is like wanting people to be better. If I do critique them, like for me, it's like I just have an open invitation with it. It's somebody like, hey, you clip this, or hey, your coloring is wrong, or blah blah blah. It is with a grain of salt. People are gonna do what they do, but like for me, if the person's right, it's like, oh, okay, well let's go refine that and make that better. I appreciate the heads up, because it's often uncomfortable to critique somebody or say like if somebody's walking around with a booger in their nose, like I don't know. A lot of people won't tell them that they have a booger in their nose, and it's just like I'm of the mentality of like, dude, tell them they have a booger in their nose. Like, how embarrassing! Like, they might be embarrassed for a second, but you just saved them from like 2 hours of being like, I don't know, embarrassed for a long period because they had a booger in their nose. Just speak up. So, but anyway, so like what I've noticed with myself of like teaching people or grooming people, and that's whether it's in culinary arts and doing chef works and playing with food, or business management or something like that, right? In that industry, or if it's art, to have bedside manners. So, what I've learned is like just because like I was brought up with some really kind of hard hitting individuals, very professional individuals, very passionate individuals, doesn't mean that I need to exude that kind of behavior to other people. Because a lot of people can't stomach that. Like for instance, if I went on, even if I was necessarily close with somebody, and I went and just did unsolicited advice or an unsolicited critique and just, but I treated them the way that former chefs kind of brought me up with, like I would probably lose all my friends in like 2 seconds. Like it'd be crazy. So what I've learned is like, do critiques and be critiqued and do that, but do it with like a state of grace, if you will. Be gentle, maybe suggestive. Like I like using, not you should do this, but hey, have you ever thought about this, or you could do this, et cetera, et cetera. But like more of an invitation to. Think about something in another way without robbing them of what they're doing. And then I think for me, like I really don't care what the flavor of the critique is. If somebody has the courage to speak up and they're doing so in the light of trying to help me out, I'm just going to see that. And it doesn't matter how harsh um, or how gentle it is, that person had the courage to say something to me. And I'm going to, I'm going to go, I might take it with a grain of salt, but nevertheless, or whatever, I'm going to appreciate the idea that they had the courage to say something, at the very, very least, because all they want is to help me reach my goals. But super, super fun. So things like this, where it's super soft all the way, it makes me think of almost like that painterly feel, right? When you go and, I don't know. So, but I really like just really how soft it is. But this is like a really good example or whatever of where I would use a crop, and that uh, something like that is really kind of flattering. Obviously cropped in more inappropriately. Like this is quick and dirty, but the image as a whole doesn't really work. So that would be an example of where I would probably play with that. But I love this modifier that I've been using recently. This is actually the first like full shoot where I've used this really big umbrella with a diffuser and a strobe. But I love, because it's so big, the softness with the diffuser, like how the speculars, it's like they're speculars, but it's super, super, super soft. And really, really forgiving on the skin. But because the modifier is so big, it like wraps around the subject's face, even when she's, turned away. And you don't get any banding or noise like whatsoever in the shadows. And I really appreciate that type of lighting. Super, super fun. Okay, so this is the gap in the mouth that I was talking about earlier. I don't know if anybody caught that, but nevertheless, I think it's just a wonderful look. And it's like my wife Danny, she's got a very similar thing that she does, where the lower lip almost just goes and touches essentially the top of the jaw or the top teeth. And it's so funny because, like I had mentioned that, my wife Danny has got canines or pronounced canines, whereas this model, like her front teeth are more pronounced and stuff like that. But I don't know, like how the shape language works in the mouth when there's just a small gap like that. It doesn't matter how your teeth are structured. It's so just pretty. Like I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So very cool. Right. So this is probably my favorite image so far. But I think, let's see, this is only, I don't know, probably 30 images in or whatever. But I think a lot of them that we took were like super kind of, had some kind of zeal or magic to it. But I like that. It's almost like she's in a pose or whatever, but it's like you grab somebody in their moment or something like that, and it's just very organic at the same time. So I'll have to look at these tomorrow because I've seen myself with images like right after a shoot. It's hard to look at them objectively because you're excited about the shoot and the shoot was successful, if you will. And I think because of that, you're making decisions based on your excitement, not because you're being objective or whatever of what is going to make a great image. So when I first go through these, like I have that in mind, and so tomorrow when I go through, whatever I pick today, it'll get refined again, and just kind of go from there. So another one that if I did or something with or whatever, it would be more of a cropped in thing. So again, subject to change. Yeah, that's definitely. Compositing is super, super rad. I think I talked to you the other day about that for a brief minute. I thought about using some of my old skill sets on some of these in the future. I think right now I'm just trying not to get like analysis paralysis, I guess. So I think once I start to kind of refine maybe what my look is on average, what the vast majority, like when a person sees my images, the coherency in them, right? Then I think at that point I'll probably venture off into doing some wild stuff of like for instance, like one of the things that I learned like years ago would be I wonder if I have that image. Let's see. That might be, I think I do. So let's do this. Let's go. So one of the things that I learned a long time ago when I was doing more like fine art photography, so surrealism, dreamscape, stuff like that, was get elements if you can. I mean, obviously you can fake it and do other things, but try to get elements that you might want to move within the image with the same lighting that you took the image with, and it just it can help quite a bit. So let's see. I wonder if I could find it. So several months ago, I was actually not doing photography at all. When I say several months ago, I think more like in the 9, 10, 11 months ago. I wasn't even touching my camera. I was doing game development, and so like video games in 3D and animating and stuff like that. And one of the drives that I had on my computer had all my backups, and then I had my drives that would back those up and things of the sort to make sure I didn't lose all of my work. And I wanted to reformat. My my boot drive or my main drive so that I could That's awesome. Cinema 4D is like super, super cool. What is it? I don't know. It's I don't know. I wouldn't say I like creating alien head. That's so funny. Yeah, I used ZBrush, Unreal Engine, Blender. What is it? I think Maya a little bit, and then a lot of Houdini. Houdini was really, really cool. Just doing really procedural type stuff. Let's see if I could find it. So, okay. So I found that. So let's see if I can go send that to my Dropbox. But yeah, long story short is, yeah, when I went to go format my boot drive, essentially to go put a new solid state drive in, that was bigger, can hold more programs, all that good stuff, faster. I ended up formatting the wrong drive, and I formatted probably about 10 years of work. So I lost all of my work, 3D, like my old photography, everything. But what was cool is I still had a couple images left on my phone, and that made me really, really happy because I can do things like this. Let's see. See if I could find it real quick. Sorry, I just put it back on my computer. So let's see if I could find it real quick. But basically where I would use compositing for that example. Let's see. Here we go. But I would use the same exact, yeah, there we go, lighting. And so I could go and actually clip and move things around each other. So essentially, you know, Danny, or my wife ended up being behind the camera, but we did all the same lighting. So essentially I was able to do different poses and then wrap myself around myself, and make it seemingly, you know, believable. You know, this is older. I've learned a lot since then. I would approach this image in a very different way now. But the idea that it's even possible to composite with the same lighting, you know, it's just really, really cool. Makes me really happy. Okay, that's super cool. Yeah, like if I ever end up formatting like a drive again, like, you know, to your point, like, you know, the idea that you can actually still recover that, I think I'll do that. I think next time though, I won't be such a knucklehead and sloppy with how I format things. So hopefully I'm just, it's kind of a lesson learned. But we'll see. So, because especially like if I go to, you know, start doing client work, you know, if my stuff gets good enough to where people like would, you know, open their billfolds, if you will. You know, there's a Australian photographer that was coaching on the importance of backing up your work, you know, and he would literally back up like 3 different versions of a backup on like drives. And his point is not that, you know, he said basically it's not if a drive fails, it's when a drive fails. And when you're doing client work, like, you know, and people are dumping, you know, sums of money in you, and you're doing contracts and licensing, you know, if you have a photo shoot that gets deleted, like that's a liability at that point, you know. You're liable to get sued because essentially, you know, they paid you for services rendered, plus the time that they gave you as a client, and you weren't able to produce, you know. And because of that, I don't ever want to be in that situation. So I think, you know, if and when I ever get to start doing client work, you know, essentially I'll just back up my backups of my backup and call it a day. So super, super fun. So let's go. So I'm gonna have a problem with this new lighting because again, like it's right after the shoot, so a lot of it is just being excited. I'm excited it's a new model. I'm excited because it's a new light modifier that I've never used before. So there's just there's a novelty to it, if you will. It's new, and so I'm excited about it and not objective about it. So a lot of the images that I'm currently picking, which seems to be quite a few in a row, it's basically for me to just get rid of, like for instance, when my light doesn't flash and it's just just makes the screen black, or just images that I know for a fact, no matter what kind of mood I'm in, I'm not going to use. It gets rid of all those, so I can kind of trim those out, and then tomorrow I can go look at them super objectively. Okay, that's super. That's super cool. That's good to know. So that's probably why, like, I guess people like, I don't know, maybe I would saw it as like a TV show type thing. I didn't know if there was any truth to it, but the idea of like you watch a movie and somebody like wiped their drive and they're like, oh, I could still get into that. So I guess there's some validity to that, or there's straight up validity. But I always thought that was kind of a, I don't know. I don't know enough about it, so to be honest. So super, super cool. So I really like it when she goes like limp. Um, so I think there's like I'd like to work with her again and then kind of explore this. Like when I do test shoots, a lot of it is because like you don't know the person, they don't know you. A lot of it is just kind of getting comfortable. It's like I don't know. It's like a big hello, a big first impression. Like it's my first impression with her as a model of like somebody that's cool that I want to work with. It's her first impression of me of somebody cool that they want to work with. Like that's all test shoots usually are. Like workability. It's like first impression. So. But if I ever shoot her again, like I really want to explore like how she's able to get her body to just kind of fall into itself. I think that's super, super freaking neat. Oh yeah. Yeah, I completely agree with you. Like I think like a lot of my shoots, let's see, since I've started, I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shoots with 5 different people, and that's it. So that's my sum total basically of experience with shooting strangers. When I did fine art photography, you know and things prior, like literally it was like myself and my partner, and that's it. So having strangers like come in to your space and both of you in your own right kind of being a little bit vulnerable, I guess, if you will, like right off the bat, and then like I don't know, you just really, I think, have to be cool people and really put your best foot forward to make sure that I don't know, you are that rad person and they are that rad person, because what you're trying to produce or whatever, like I don't know, it's really important that that stays intact. So what I'm learning right now is that like my interpersonal skills, like I don't know, like I almost give more emphasis on the idea of I don't know, comfort and environment than I would like, some kind of technical error, or like my camera's not working properly, or you know like I'm not feeling this light setup or something like that. Like all that stuff is trivial and can be taken care of. You know, a lot of my concern is making sure that the person who's taken time out of their day and out of their life to go and collaborate with you or help you with a project, or in certain instances or whatever, actually, pay you, are super, 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 super freaking comfortable. Like, I think if I could impart that on anybody, I think it would be that, make the people that are around you super comfortable, and make sure it's never not that way. Um, so I really like that look. But yeah, so what I've noticed is being mindful of that, that it's not just about like, oh, I need my shots, or oh, I need, this and that. No, like have emotional intelligence, make sure that that person is getting their needs met, and then meet in the middle, and I think if you can go do that, in so few words, like what's going to happen is, both, all parties involved are just going to have fun, and you're going to end up with good work, and people are going to like working with you. And I think it's that simple. So, long-winded tangent on the subject, but nevertheless, that's simple. Yeah, I really dig that. So this is kind of where she goes into like flow states, I guess. Like she's got a pose, but she goes and it's just kind of playing with it. So I think that's kind of cool. So I don't think I'm going to blow out until I change my light. So I'm going to go ahead and take that warning off. So the light's super consistent. So I'm really kind of curious, like, I don't know, kind of how milky this new light is, like with the skin and then things that have moisture in it. So I want to say, like, of all my experience with lights that I've had, and modifiers, so octoboxes and beauty dishes and stuff like that, I haven't seen this kind of like this milkiest look or whatever. I've seen it like myself recreate that in Photoshop, and I don't know, softening things up, but I don't think I've ever seen that like literally out of camera before. So I'm actually really excited about that. Yeah, I'm really, really enjoying that. I'd like to see when I start processing these before I take them into Photoshop. Like for instance, if like not as a rule of thumb, like I want to shoot with all sorts of lights for different scenarios because I just want to be versed in it, right? Like I want to be good at doing those things. But like, say like for this or whatever, like, okay, it's super, super soft, stuff like that. But this particular image, like, I know we were going for soft, but would look really kind of rowdy with, more contrast or something like that. Like, that wouldn't fix it at all. Like, you know what I mean? But if I did that and then, went and started like kind of messing around with, I don't know, almost like a recreation of the opposite. So usually like I would go get something that's a little bit contrasty because it's the only lights that I had, right? And then I would go into Photoshop, and then I would go and do frequency separation and luminosity masks and all sorts of other things or whatever to soften, like basically make the gradations of light to shadow softer, right? So a lot of work to do the opposite. So it's almost interesting to see like, okay, well, out of camera I can kind of pull that off. Can I go the opposite way if I wanted to? And I think being able to do workarounds, no matter what. So no matter what lighting I have, I can kind of change it to the other, or I could go from, yeah, I don't know if that makes sense. I'm going on a weird tangent and losing my place, but nevertheless, hopefully that makes sense. Just being versatile, whether it's as a photographer with different lighting, or as a retoucher recreating different lighting, because I just am inclined to do so. I guess this is the short of it. Sorry, I just went and lost my mind with talking. So hopefully that makes sense. Blah, blah, blah. All right, cool. So I think this is where she took her hair down. Yeah, this is where she took her hair down. Super cute. I really like the bangs quite a bit, like how they flow off. Super excited about those. Yeah, I wonder why people do that. Like, I think your point on fundamentals. Like, I still have a million things to learn. Like I would argue that like in studio, like doing a shoot, like actually doing like proper lighting. Like I get it and I get the gist of it, but I also understand that I have like mountains of things to learn. So and that's just in the category of like fundamentals, right? But at the very least, what I've learned is that I need a very, very solid base image, and then that base image needs to be very, very clean before I go do something else. And so I guess to your point with fundamentals, it's like, you know, that should be the bread and butter, I think, of any craft. Like, I remember when I did oil-based painting, like, you know, why do they suck? Why do they look flat? Okay, well, I didn't take the time with the fundamentals. You know, I did that with drawing and things of the sort, and perspective and contrast and values and all that stuff. Why didn't I do that with color theory when I start painting? Why didn't I do that with, how glazing works? Like, you know, oils don't dry, they cure. You know, like there's chemical reactions. There's different things that slow drying or speed it up, or whatever. And you can do that with watercolor and gouache and food and culinary arts and stuff like that. So to your point, like, that's so funny. Yeah, and it's like I get on Instagram and it's like, oh my god, I got 100,000 followers. How'd you do that? Oh yeah, I just use orange and teal. You know, I saw it on YouTube once, and it's a great thing. That's so funny. But yeah, like to your point, I talk a lot, but I guess that's the point of Twitch, to chat. I think they're very, very important. I think sometimes when I talk to other people, they want to understand and they want to do the fundamentals, but they don't understand where to start and what the building blocks actually consist of. So like for me with like photography, like I'm new to this sort of thing. Um, but I've had to learn the fundamentals of different types of mediums throughout the years, and I understand that you got to put a foundation, so fundamentals foundation, a base, you know, um, and so a lot of my keyword searches when I'm trying to figure something out that's like a new medium, um, is what that foundation actually is. Um, and so if I could go figure out proper lighting, good composition or whatever, uh, what is it? Good range of color as a base, to work with, like rich skin, like if I blow everything out, then, I don't get the probably 30 different colors that are just in this that I can work with in post, because the colors are there, because I didn't blow them out before I even got them into Photoshop. But anyway, in short or whatever, you're exactly right. Fundamentals are important, and people should not skip over them. It's like bedhead. That's so awesome. That's so funny. I don't know. I think that's a vibe. Oh my god. That's cool. Let's see, I was telling her when, I guess with how her skin is and stuff like that, there's like a lot of different things where I'll be able to, just if I like her look, like on her face, or it's just interesting, like I'll literally just be able to play with this and experiment with just beauty retouch. I really like the fact that she's got freckles, because it's challenging in its own way. I can't just like the person I had on the stream, the last time that I was working on. That's my wife, Danny. But she's got very, like, same as this model or whatever, very smooth, very clean skin, right? But you don't have like just these beauty marks everywhere, and then I would argue that's what freckles are. Is they're just, she's got a lot of beauty marks, and I don't like to remove beauty marks or whatever. So, like, how do you go and do like retouch with something like this, and color grading with something like this, and do it in a very in-depth way, without actually stealing this look from her, because that's her birthright, that's her inherent look. So I'm really excited to see, because I don't think I've ever done like actual photography with somebody that's freckled before. Yeah, I've never used a hair rim light before. Like, I'm actually like this whole shoot was just one light. That's it, and I think that's the saving grace of a big modifier, is it wraps around. Um, but I don't know. I still have to go to afford getting a secondary strobe light. I think my wife would kill me at this point. Like, well, not really. I think she'd support it, but nevertheless, I think the deal I did with her is like, if I'm gonna go invest in gear outside of what I already have, so basically the idea of work with what you have, and then if what you're doing dictates that you need something specialized, or after that, make investments accordingly. So I kind of am of the opinion of, if I want more lights or a second monolight to where I can do like rim lights or hair lights, or just more dynamical lights to make it more 3D instead of like flat. Um, I need to go earn that by getting really good at what I do with just one light, or one light and a reflector, or, something like that. So, so that's what I intend to do. I intend to get really, really good at what I do so I can have really cool lights and do hair. That's so funny. I appreciate that so much. Um, yeah, I think that's like so dramatic lighting, like it'd be cool, like I don't know, like you had a gel or something like that, like on a snoot, or I don't know, some of these fancy things that I see every once in a while. I don't think it's necessary, like different things that I've seen with um, even just high-end photography. It's like, just work with what you have. Work with what you have, and then the rest will come after. Like, use multiple lights if it's necessary to do so. But I do agree that, like, with more light setups or something like that, your capacity changes. So like the idea of being able to use a key light and a fill light is a lot of my interest. So I'm not really interested unless I had a really dark backdrop or something like that, or I was shooting away or far enough away from a backdrop to where it would go darker. Like, cool, maybe a hair light is, that separation's cool, right? But I think my interest is, I think one more light, and the reason for that is I want to be able to have a key light that I can control, and then a fill light that I can control, and then use the two of them in harmony to where I could get punchy looks if I want to, but then I have a fill light to where the fall off to that in designated places, that I want to look for, are completely possible. I don't have to have one or the other. Like, I can go play with seemingly contrasty as well as super soft, and I could do them together. Okay, she's not flashing anybody. Cool. Yay. That's super cool. Yeah, she's a super doll friggin' to shoot with. Super, super cool. I'm gonna have a hell of a day tomorrow. I'm gonna wake up and be like, oh my gosh, I gotta go through these and actually make decisions of what I want to take into post. That's super soft. So another thing that I liked about this kind of new modifier is the catch lights in her eyes. She's got very hazel eyes, but it's cool depending on, if she was sitting or standing. Just how they appeared and how her eyes would kind of turn a little bit. That's really weird right there. Huh. Yeah, lights are really cool. Like today, for instance, I was forced in a position where I had to use natural light. So, um, I just opened essentially all the blinds to let the natural light in, and then I used a little off-camera flash um, with an umbrella, right? And so I used the natural light as the fill. Um, because there wasn't enough of it to use it as a key light or the main light. And I didn't want to do a crazy high um, what do you call it, ISO. And I also didn't want to make it so that my shutter speed is so slow to where I have to worry about blur. Like, like I have two rules of thumb when I shoot. Like, to the best that I can control is, if I have to pick one, it's going to be shutter speed. I want a very, very fast shutter speed, and I want it to never not be that way. Because I want the model to move just as quickly as she wants to move, or he wants to move, and I want to be able to catch that without blur, unless I'm trying to go for that look and trying for blur, right? But the second one is ISO. Like, I like my ISO at 100, sometimes 64. Like, the camera that I have will let me take it all the way down to 64 without introducing noise into the shadows. Sometimes I'll use that, but it really depends. Mostly it's just 100 ISO. I like that because I want a very clean image, unless I'm trying to do something other. Today, my strobe ran out of batteries because we were shooting it, like, I guess the new modifier, like, I have to crank it up quite a bit, so it drains the battery faster than I'm used to it draining. So I had to improvise, and so what I did is I opened up the blinds. We did natural light as the fill light. I did a off-camera flash through a translucent, transparent umbrella as a diffuser to kind of give it a little softness, right? And then we shot that way, but I had to turn my ISO to, like, I think 6400 so that I could shoot at the rate of speed that I wanted. But the difference is still like night and day. So, like, I want to experiment with, like, on-site shoots and outside shoots and stuff like that. But I really, really, really like controlling light, and playing with that because I can shape the person. Like, I've done shoots. I did this shoot with a ballerina, and I was using kind of like V flats, like doing what do you call it? Like negative fills. So I was using black instead of a white reflector, and I was able to, like, shape her face and her body in, like, in ways that I just could not do outside. I use a Nikon, what is it? D850. So a Nikon D850. So I like it a lot. The one thing that I don't like about the camera, in comparison to, like, maybe a Sony or a Canon, is I find that the colors are very, very flat. Like, what you're seeing right now is like shot with vivid, and, like, literally, like, the saturation cranked, like, almost as high as I could crank it in the camera to get just, I don't know, some remnants of color. I love it for how fast it can shoot. It's super reliable. It's super clean. The lenses aren't terribly expensive when you get, like, prime lenses. Love it as a workhorse camera. But all the color I'm definitely messing with in post-production. All I want is a base. It's so funny. Wonder if I could go do that. Well, maybe not. So I was gonna see if Okay, so I can actually do that. So maybe when I'm streaming or something like that or whatever. So basically, yeah, it's uh, shooting with a Nikon, and then 50 millimeter is what I use for this shoot. And shooting on f8 at 1/250th of a second. Manual always. Cool. All right, so I guess when people have questions, I can go and like kind of do that. I don't know, or I can just talk because I do that a lot. All right, cool beans. Yeah, Sonys are awesome. Like, I also like I want to get a Sony as well. But I think it's because they have like not just like a face detection and stuff like that, but I want to say it goes all the way down to like the eye. It finds the nearest eye, focuses on that, and can like do that like in rapid fire. I think that's just completely sick. Yeah, that's completely true. So I could definitely go play with like the. That's super cool. That's so funny. Yeah, like we just invested in like speaking of like doing videos and photography. Like my wife and I, we always like, I don't know, like we're so bad with smartphones, right? Like oh man, like we've actually like been notified by our carrier, like, hey, your manufacturer does not even support your model anymore, so you need to go buy new phones or whatever, or the newest, the closest updated one or something like that, so that we can, continue doing service with you. And so really, really bad. So I think like currently, like we have the iPhone, God, 6S or something like that, like super super old, and but we've never been sticklers for that. So but anyway, my point is like speaking of cameras and videography, or just doing video, what is it, we went and decided to pull the trigger because we've been doing, like we've decided that we want to do actual content creation, so photography, videography, different platforms, all that good stuff. So we went to go, I guess, invest in those. I think it's the iPhone 13, like Pro Max or whatever, something like that. And so I think we gotta wait a while because like what is it? Apparently Apple's having problems like actually manufacturing chips. But nevertheless, I'm really excited to see um, what those actually do. I've heard that the actual cameras on them are quality enough to where there's. I heard that with the 12 Max Pro too, but professional photographers would actually go use that in a professional setting, same as videographers. So I think we're really excited to be able to have access to something like that. I actually lost track of what I was doing and stopped. Wow, I skipped over a lot. Or did I? Okay, here we go. All right. there's this designer that was like, oh man, I don't even know how to find him. So I heard about him from like this Australian photographer, but he was trying to figure out different things that he could do while like the whole pandemic was happening. Like, what are other sources of revenue that he can use? And I guess he was coaching like his audience through like, there's no excuses. Like you have the technology here, like, you just need the ideas, right? Um, and he introduced the audience to this, or his viewership to this designer who I guess didn't run out of work, but I guess he didn't have a project really through the whole lockdown thing, like a year or so ago. So what he did is he literally got his iPhone, um, got in his kitchen, did like natural lighting, natural window lighting on flower arrangements that he would just like hand pick, right? And put in a vase. And then he would do these compositions, which is natural window light in a kitchen. Um, and then he would take it through a pass, like with an algorithm to kind of distort it a little bit. And then I think another one that would blow it up to where he can do large print from something that is just out of his cell phone. Um, he'd print them off, go through the different highlights, I guess, with like a chalk pencil and just refine the highlights. And I think like his pictures were like selling on auction for like $3 million plus a piece. And I was just like, that is crazy. Off of a phone, like, so I don't know. Point is, or whatever, is like when people knock phones, like I'm just like, no, it's a tool, it's technology. If you can use it and you can do it in some kind of clever way, do it. So, but yeah, clever people. I like clever people. They're inspiring. Okay, so we're in a different. I need some water. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I have to remember that sometimes though, because I like gear, and sometimes like I'll go to invest or pull the trigger on something, and then it just sits there, and I'm like, oh my god, like you wanted this because you wanted this, not because you actually needed this. So I try to remind myself that a lot. Um, find a happy medium between like want and need. So so I try to make investments if I know it'll make me a better creative or help me to be a better creative because I have that tool. So the iPhone would be an example of that because our iPhones are really dated and I don't want to carry around a bulky Nikon all the time. Sometimes I just want a cell phone. Yeah, that kind of makes sense. I'm on the fence on this image. Like super, super on the fence. Huh. Um, but at the same time, like I've acquired things where it's just like why did I even do that? Like you don't need it. Like you just had a want or whatever, and it just sat there. What a waste. But I don't know. So That's super fun. Like that one. That's probably my favorite out of those sets so far. Yeah, I agree. Thanks for stopping by, definitely. You have a good night as well. Enjoy your grab. That's so awesome. All right, so like for anybody that's watching right now, yeah, basically all I'm doing is going through the catalog that I shot today and getting it ready for post or tomorrow. And basically what I'm gonna do. Uh, hmm. That's bizarre. Basically, all I'm gonna do is get what I'm basically excited about today. Kind of after I had that afterglow of a shoot, so it's not super objective, you know. New light setup, model I haven't worked with before. Um, you know, getting ones that I know are going to be, uh, you know, usable in some capacity. They go into essentially a folder, and then I will go look at them again tomorrow, and then they will be refined again. And when I refine those again, those will be the ones that I take into post or to final, so complete polish. So right now, basically all I'm doing is chatting, and there we go. Like, why did that disappear? Yeah, basically just chatting and figuring out what I want to do. All right, here we go. That's back to kind of normal. Sorry, I totally like hid my menus. I was trying to figure out where they went. Super fun. Um, so yeah, that's pretty much what I'm doing. And I'm inspecting lighting. So far, I've just been really, really pleased. I'm using a new modifier. Basically, like I don't know, like a 5 6 foot like umbrella with a diffuser, and then I'm using a strobe. No reflectors, no negative fill reflectors, no natural light. Literally just one light with a big modifier. And I'm loving just what the light does to her flesh tones. It's just very even light. The light wraps around really beautifully. So super, super cool. So, but yeah, I'm just going through this catalog And I figured I'd do that like on Twitch and just kind of get a feel for it. So super, super cool. I like that a lot. That's awesome. Super, super fun. I just wonder sometimes because I don't model at all. Like I've been in front of the camera, but it's more like very stiff poses for like I don't know, portrait or fine art photography. So I've never actually, done a shoot where I need to move and have different moods and looks and all that good stuff. So I can only imagine, like, when people do this and do this well, what that is for them. But I guess it's just like riding a bike, like, you practice and then you just kind of find yourself in it. And then if you find yourself, you can lose yourself. So just being able to kind of lose yourself and go find all these different types of looks. That's just super cool. I think that's super rad. Is her hands out or... Huh. That's cool. So I'm gonna have a rough day tomorrow, kind of trying to cipher through these of like, ones that I actually want to take into finals. 'Cause she's got so many different ranges of moods and looks. Some are like pouty, some are, I don't know, just quirky and fun, So, which is kind of cool because I'll have a range of different things that I can actually put on her with my skill set. So, she definitely brought it to the table as far as just cool things. Very cool. But yeah, it's kind of like just weird angles with this one. Like, I don't know, just like rocking it. Very cool. That's really weird. So, been wondering about like this, like, kind of chat box. I wish I could get that thing to function properly. I guess I need to read up on it or something like that. So, oh well. Okay, so I guess this is the last one before we went to an outfit change. And very cool. All right, so outfit change. So these will be very different kind of looks that I put on her with this particular outfit. She's got some kind of greens, definitely a lot of yellows, and then she's got her skin complexion, which is basically her reds, yellows, creams, and all that good stuff. So I think the kind of mood and look that I did with these will be very, very different than the previous outfit, which is super kind of freaking rad. But I kind of like between her shoes and I don't know what you would call that, like I don't know if this is like a cardigan or what would be the right word for that, but essentially what's on her arms and over her shoulders, like I think it's interesting like how it carves her out and stuff. Super, super cool. It's very soft looking. It's super cool. That's so funny. I'm gonna have a really difficult, I keep saying this, but a difficult time tomorrow. So I think what I might do is there's two other people that I have trouble with this with. It's kind of, I don't know, trying to decide like what is a better image, you know, as you do them, because there's so many that are like super workable and super could be awesome, right? So I think what I'm gonna have to do is just do the same kind of thing that I do with other people's, is basically do an image and then finish it, do another image, and you know, don't worry about like necessarily having to pick like one image for like outfit that's just the rock star image, you know. Sometimes I could just finalize more than one or do a set of them or something like that. So, but at the same time, sometimes I want to have the ability to yeah, just tell myself like, okay, there's a lot of these that are show a lot of potential and they're really really cool, but you need the best one. You know, like what is the best one? How do you even discern that? Like, but I guess it's really just the context in which you're going to use it. You know, or what it does or how it speaks or something like that. Um, so I think it just depends. That's super a fun one. I like that a lot. That's super cool. So I like that her eyes and then her finger, like, really, I don't know. I think compositionally that's just really neat. So she's like leading the viewer's eyes with her eyes. So it's really interesting. That's super fun. I love the contrast between, you know, it's almost like this sundress and then like this awesome like freaking, you know, I don't know, top. I need to figure out what people call those things so I can be like all hip with the times and stuff, but nevertheless. And then she's got these like super rowdy like platforms, like, I don't know, I think that's so cool. uh, Super super fun. Huh. Okay, that's awesome. I really, 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 really like that image. Oh, cool. So I'm gonna be right back, actually. Cool. And here we go. All right, so I'm back for just a second. So I think I'm actually gonna close it for tonight. What I'd like to do, I think, I don't know. In the meantime, is essentially figure out how to get this caption thing working, um, to where people, or the chat rather, to where people that actually shows up. Um, yeah, and then go eat some food and stuff like that. So, anyway, I'm gonna leave it actually with kind of this image, in that it's really really cool to um, not have met somebody ever before, uh, get their skill sets and your skill sets, and then just kind of right at a camera have a base for what could potentially be an amazing fucking image. Excuse my language, but nevertheless, like that's really cool. Like, I don't know, you don't get that like doing a selfie in a mirror. Like you get that like collaborating with cool people. So I'm really excited to see what types of images come out of this shoot and what I can do with them. Anyway, thanks for I don't know checking in and watching for a bit. Hope it was insightful and fun. And I'm gonna go check out and do other stuff for a bit. So anyway, later.